it's Ali Cody. I am the founder and CEO of Avocado Ali, where we focus on healing through food and through faith. I am also a certified holistic nutritionist and a certified fitness instructor. And today, happy Friday, we are going to talk about aspartame. Is it a toxin? Is it not a toxin? But first, don't forget to subscribe below and click the bell. That way, you'll be notified every Friday when a new episode drops in. In fact, you'll be the first to know. There is a little bit of debate out there, and so let me share my screen with you. About 2 years before becoming a certified holistic nutritionist, I was out with my husband. We met up with a couple that I had not met before, and we met up with the husband and the wife was gorgeous, really just beautiful person, adorable, but she suffered severely from MS. My heart went out to her. And I had actually just read an article a few days prior about aspartame's role in the neurological system of our bodies and how it could cause MS in some people. And I know this theory has been disputed by the National Multiple Sclerosis Society and some other organizations, but that evening, I watched this beautiful woman down at least 6 Diet Cokes, and I couldn't help to think that this correlation may very well be real. Okay, so like usual, when I'm out and about and I see these situations, like when I see people eating or drinking something and then I see they have an issue and I know that there's at least a correlation to that issue and what they're eating and drinking, I just want to tell them. My inner voice was screaming, tell her, but I'm a very polite person. I'm not an in-your-face type of person. And I know most people don't want me to tell them a thing. And if I did, then I'd be the hater trying to take away what might be that one thing that brings them joy. So what's up? Is it just a correlation? Is it just coincidence? Let's look at this. Aspartame contains excitotoxin, aspartate, as 40% of its molecular structure. Did you see that? It actually has toxin in its name. So I say avoid it. Numerous studies have shown that consuming aspartame can significantly elevate the excitotoxin level in our blood, which makes sense since that's what we're consuming. So artificial sweeteners that are man-made may have these excitotoxins. We want to look and see, and if it has aspartame, then we know it does. Excitotoxins basically excite the brain cells literally over time to death. Now, there's also a really dangerous situation when excitotoxin exposure is even more life-threatening over time. This takes place when aspartate, as aspartame, is combined in the diet with MSG. This creates blood levels that are several folds higher than normal of these toxins. So normally, most of these excitotoxins are secreted from microglial immune cells, and it's in the central nervous system. This not only destroys these myelin-producing cells, but it also breaks down the blood-brain barrier and allows excitotoxins in the bloodstream to enter the site of damage. So with the blood-brain barrier damage, as in MS, these excitotoxins can freely enter into the site of injury and greatly magnify the damage. So when we see that dietary excitotoxins like aspartame and MSG can magnify this damage that is produced in multiple sclerosis, then why would we ever even think about consuming them? And the excitotoxins have been shown to break down the blood-brain barrier alone as well, not just with the MSG. So excitotoxins, MSG, and what we call the food industry's dirty little secret. I think they have more than one, though. This is definitely one of them. This is definitely one example of FDA-approved poison. So let's talk about the foods that may contain aspartame. Soft drinks, especially diet sodas, commercially prepared fruit juices, flavored water, fruit punch, chewing gum, candy, yogurt that we think is healthy, flavored water that we think is healthy. Desserts, I mean, we know the desserts aren't good. I mean, if something says sugar-free, beware. It's got these excitotoxins. Condiments like ketchup and barbecue sauce, jams and jellies, salad dressings, maple syrup. You really want to check the ingredient list. Meal replacements like weight loss bars and shakes, chewable vitamins, and cough drops. So check out and see if it has aspartame or MSG. And you're going to have to know a lot of different names. Kentucky Fried Chicken, theirs has the MSG as well. So the MSG is monosodium glutamate. So you have to know what you're looking for when you're looking at the label. After this video ends, check out a link below with the 6 most dangerous toxins. The top 2 are MSG and aspartate. This helps understand why the combination of the two can have a significant effect on the human body. And you see, what happens is we all react to things differently. So while maybe one person can have diet soda and MSG products and not be affected, another person will be affected. So if you are affected, you want to remove these things from your system. Even Wikipedia says that excitotoxicity is the pathological process by which nerve cells are damaged or killed by excessive stimulation by neurotransmitters like glutamate and similar substances. So if multiple sclerosis is, as defined by their official website, an unpredictable, often disabling disease of the central nervous system that disrupts the flow of information within the brain, between the brain and the body, then why don't doctors suggest that MS patients sustain from consuming these toxins? Blows my mind. Why would the National MS Society say that aspartame is safe? It's obvious that excitotoxins, which is in aspartame, affect the nervous system. It's obvious that it makes that disconnect in that blood-brain barrier. Wouldn't you think if you had a disease of the central nervous system, you would want to avoid any toxins that would have a negative effect? Also, wouldn't you want, if you have a disease of the central nervous system, or honestly, if you have any chronic illness, dealing with any pain or any issue whatsoever, wouldn't you want to consume foods that would only provide nutrients into your immune system? According to Dr. Russell Blaylock, a recently retired neurosurgeon, no one should be consuming aspartame, and those responsible for putting it on the market should be held responsible for unleashing an agent of chemical warfare on an unsuspecting public. So I'm going to let you judge for yourself. Honestly, I don't, at this point, care what the studies say. Aspartame contains excitotoxins. So let's get away from the aspartame. Let's look at what it contains and judge from there. Do you think there's a connection between aspartame and MS? You can see for yourself. Do you think there's a connection between these toxins and what you're dealing with personally? As I always say, friends, be careful with what you're consuming. I must also add to be aware, those organizations that are meant to help you are also many times concerned with sponsors. And this can lead to a situation where their focus is compromised. When it comes to aspartame, even roaches and ants will avoid it. Cats and dogs won't eat it. Even houseflies won't touch it. But the FDA serves it to you. And everyone's going to have a different side effect, but they could include headaches, muscle spasms, irritability, heart palpitations, loss of taste, joint pain, dizziness, weight gain, racing of the heart, difficulty breathing, tinnitus, that ringing in the ears, blurred vision, seizures, rashes, insomnia, hearing loss, depression, memory loss, vertigo, nausea, blindness, slurred speech, fatigue, and numbness. The list really goes on and on. And what we don't even talk about is the chronic illness and the life-threatening diseases. So if you have any of these symptoms, you want to avoid aspartame. It's not just in the diet sodas. You want to research and avoid it. So next week, we are going to talk about reductionist theory and how it negatively affects our health. Stay tuned, and I can't wait to see you then, friends. By the way, check the links below. I do have the link I talked about with the top 6 toxins that's in our food. And I also have a link to my public Facebook group. We would love to have you in there. And then if you truly want to learn how to eat to heal your specific issue, then click the last link that I have to set up a complimentary call with me, find out more about my program, and see if it's going to help you alleviate or reverse the issues that you're currently dealing with and reduce your risk of chronic illness. Bye, friends. Until then.